Hi, I'm Brandon, and I'm back to do another tier list predator ranking video. This time I'm doing the HVP predators, the Hansen versus predators guys. This is going to be a hard one. I'm going to be ranking them according to who I think is most dangerous, rather than who I just despise the most. Because some of the guys might be annoying and I might hate them, but I don't think they're as dangerous. So we're gonna go according to who I think is the biggest predator. And this is gonna be hard to do because I'm not just giving them like ranking them on how bad they are. I have to put them in order, and it's gonna be difficult to put some guys further down the list when there's pretty much vast majority of them I think are all terrible. So it's going to be hard to rank them. But that is what's going to make this fun. So let's get into it here. I got all their pictures down here. Um I For Steve Buchanan, I think it comes down to a lot of it whether or not you think he intended to kill the victim, which I don't think he did. Obviously, the stuff he had in his car was very alarming, but I don't think he's a killer like everyone makes him out to believe. He's, as far as I know, hasn't done anything else this uh, since this sting. I just don't think that's true. I could be wrong. Obviously, I don't want to give the guy any credit for like that somehow makes him a good guy, but I just don't think he's. I think he was willing to do horrible things and sexually assault the victim, but I don't think that he was going to kill them. However, he's still pretty terrible guy. So maybe I don't know. I'll just throw him right in the middle for now. I might have to move some of these guys around. I'll say David Tiriolo. I'll probably put at the bottom. He's still bad for trying to do what he did. He's the guy. He didn't have a confrontation with Chris Hansen, but he's the guy that had that stupid video where he was complaining that he was getting bullied about his being bald and the fact that he didn't have hair and he was trying to raise money to get a hair transplant. That video makes him more pathetic than it does predatory. But he did have an inappropriate conversation with a decoy and attempted to meet up with them, but he didn't, as far as I remember, really, he wasn't overtly sexual. It doesn't give him a pass, but it does get him further down this list. I might, for now at least, I might put Joshua Cologne at the very top, just because he'd done a crime against a minor before in real life that he admitted in his interrogation. And it's the fact that he was like remorseless. He was just some kind of like predatory robot that he didn't really try to defend himself. He just like was monotone and just said like, "Yep," just admitted to everything. He basically just admitted it, and Chris asked, "What happened to you?" And he says, "I guess I should go to jail." Like it just seemed like he'd come to terms with who he is and what he is, and just didn't even make any attempt to stop doing it. He's just a predator with no personality and no soul. So I'll put him at the top for now. Charles Lawrence is hard because he didn't talk to Chris. We saw his interrogation. He's I have, just for that reason, I'll have to put him down the list a bit more, just because some of these other guys we just knew a little bit more about. Obviously, Charles Lawrence is bad because he was trying to claim he was going to teach the predator or the victim, the decoy. And I always hate it when the guys they either claim that they came there for some benevolent purpose, like they came there to help the youngster, or they came there to teach them or to mentor them. But it's just such a horrible excuse to say that you're going to teach them about things that you should not be teaching a minor about. So he's horrible in that respect, but I don't think he's one of the worst. So I'd have to maybe put him here. Mike Manzy, I might have to put here, although I hate doing it, because if this was to which predator I despise the most, which predator I like annoyed me the most, and I just hated the most, he'd probably be right at the top. Maybe number two, probably number one. However, just as everyone knows, like he was not very sexual in his chat, and he was not convicted of any sort of sex crime because they couldn't prove what he intended to do because he didn't talk about it. Even though I fully believe he intended to do something sexual when the opportunity came, but we don't quite know for sure. There's just that 1% doubt. because he didn't outright say it. He just came over to smoke weed with the decoy, which is still bad. But for the terms of this list, I'd probably have to put him there. Although I hate to do it, but these last ones are hard. They're all terrible. See, Jeff Sokol, where would I put him? Like, obviously he's bad, and he's annoying too. Like, I can't stand the guy. I even have a hard time watching his segment because he annoys me so much. And he was not as sexually graphic as some of the other guys we've seen on To Catch a Predator and the various versions of the show, the various stings, but that doesn't matter because he was trying to like control and possess the young girl, which in itself is horrible. So maybe he didn't say as disgusting of sexual things. What he did say was terrible. He's just so possessive, and like it was so frustrating. And he would ask the decoy to to prove that you're real, can you take a picture of yourself holding up like 3 fingers or whatever? So she would do that. And then he'd be like, well, you could have just found that picture online somewhere. So could you take a picture with 4 fingers and sticking out your tongue? So she did that. And then he still didn't believe that. And like, it was just everything he did was so annoying. And the whole marriage contract thing, just the fact that he was willing to go to such lengths to have sex with a minor proves what a horrible guy he is. So I might even have to put him as worse than Buchanan. Yeah, like I said, this is hard. Like they should all be right up here in the first 1 or 2 spots. But I haven't watched a lot of their segments, or I haven't read their chat logs in quite a while. So there could be things I'm forgetting about them that would make me reconsider their place in here. But at some later date, I can always do another ranking video, and once my memory's refreshed, so things might change over time. But for now, I'll keep it like this. Jesse Vez. Jesse Vez. Just seems wrong putting them so far down. Yeah, Jesse Vez just refused to admit that he intended to do anything wrong, even though his chat with the underage boy was very graphic, very disgusting, very vile. He just outright denied it, which doesn't make sense because he was just caught red-handed, but he did. So just the fact that he's unwilling to admit to it. But I still probably have to put him there. Michael Gentiel's hard because he never had a conversation with Chris Hansen. I think he just ran away when Chris came out or something, but he did get arrested. I know he got... I think he got a fairly lengthy jail sentence. I could be wrong, though. And I should bring up, there was another guy, Michael Popovich, who was caught in the same sting, but he never tried to come to the decoy's house. He just stayed at home, and the police went to get him. And he got the longest sentence of anyone. He apparently, I think he got sentenced to 20 years, and he had to serve 10. So for whatever reason, the guy that didn't show up actually got a longer prison sentence than the guys that did show up. It could be he might have been from some other, like another state or another county or something where the rules are different. I don't know, but Michael Gentiel, I don't know a lot about him. It's just the fact that he's the oldest one. I know he brought a camera. He sent a bunch of inappropriate pictures to the decoy. And he's just like a scarier guy, and just the fact that he's older makes it just a little bit worse. So I might have to, it's hard because I don't know enough about him, so it's hard to put him above these guys. But there's something about him I think that is just extra scary. And that brings us Vincent Ambrosia. I'll have to put number 2. I know he's like the exact opposite of Michael Gentiel in that he's the youngest. But just being young does not make you not predatory. Just everything he said in his chat was gross. He's a very disturbed young man. And of course now, 10 years has passed since this, and he's in trouble again. He's been arrested, and I think he's currently in jail for some kind of a parole violation. So I think he has a predatory future ahead of him if something doesn't change, and he doesn't stay locked up, or they don't keep a really good eye on him. And just the fact that he was willing to just break down and sob, just has a sob story, and he just cries about how pathetic he is, as it like somehow that's an excuse to be a huge predator. And the girl he was coming to see was 12, which makes it just even worse. Like, he's a bad human being. Which I guess is only in one space for John Dupy. Or Dupy. I don't know. I think his name. I think it's pronounced Dupy. I could be wrong, but Dupy just sounds more like upper class or something. But I don't think that fits John Dupy, so I'll call him Dupy. And again, it feels strange to have him down this far, because he's obviously terrible, and just like, not only this, but just his life of drug use and all the other terrible things that happen. Like, he's kind of a scumbag. But if we're judging them only on their predatory behavior as it relates to this show, I might have to put him there. Although I am tempted to switch him and Jesse Vez. But I think just because I think Jesse Velez's chat was more graphic, I think. Yeah, John Dupy, like, it wasn't as graphic, but he still said bad stuff. It was still horrible. But I think I don't know if he honestly thought he was in some sort of relationship where he thought he was in love or some stupid thing with his decoy. But they talked about football. They talked about a lot of other stuff. It was more as if he was trying to start a relationship. Which obviously, like, we know what he really wanted. And even starting a relationship with a 40-year-old guy and a 13-year-old girl is just stupid and wrong. But it wasn't like just flat out sex talk. Like, they talked about a lot of other stuff, which kind of made it more pathetic in a way, but it wasn't as graphic. So just for that reason, I'll have to put him here, just because I have to. And so yeah, obviously, like, some of these guys, it feels like they should be higher, but if I have to put them in order, I think this is pretty good for now, I guess, for the sake of this video. I'd be interested to know what other people think. I think there's a lot of people that would put Jeff Sokol right at the top. I think there's a lot of people that would put Jesse Vez and even John Dupy right at the top. And Steve Buchanan, too. I know there's a lot of people that think that he intended to kill the victim. And if that's true, yeah, he should be right at the top. However, if you don't believe that, then yeah, you can't really put him there. But anyways, let me know what you think of this list and how you would rank them differently. I'd be interested to know. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time.